Hey everybody, it's Becca with the Red Roof Flower Farm. I am really excited because this whole time that I haven't been making videos, I also haven't been selling flowers. Basically, I closed down the stand after the peonies were kind of like wrapped up, and I've just been working on farm stuff and life stuff. It's been really busy, but I am through that tunnel and I'm ready to start selling again. And that day is today. Basically, as soon as I'm done making this video, I'm going to be putting a bunch of bouquets together, which I will also turn into a video. I want to kind of like make a video just to give everybody a little bit of a catch up on what's been going on with me and how the farm is looking. You know, after the peonies, I didn't have a lot of focal flowers, and a lot of the stuff that I had was kind of like shorter in the stem length, not quite, you know, sellable. So it made sense to shut down for a while, but for the last, week and a half or so, I've definitely had stuff to sell. Like my lilies are now or never, and like the marigolds are producing. Like there's tons of stuff on the farm right now. I had my priorities in another place. I think that the sales is going to be like a second half of the season type thing. I felt really good after the peonies because I sold at least $10,000 in peonies. They worked out really well. And I've got a video about it. I just haven't, one of the major reasons that I had to shut the farm down is because when I reorganized the farm and I did all this like stuff to change where everything was, the layout of the irrigation system essentially got completely destroyed and I had to rebuild it. It takes a long time to do irrigation. I reuse a lot of parts, like this whole rebuilding of my irrigation system and like building new zones and stuff. I basically have only spent about $10. The rest of it is just like, pulling apart old pieces, getting them cleaned up, reusing them. So it takes, like maybe longer than you would expect to do stuff. I think I spent like 5 hours yesterday just working on like one zone to get it finished. And there's going to be like close to 15 zones when it's all said and done. But I'm at a point now where everything that is growing, except for the peonies and the roses, some sections of the roses, are on irrigation now. And that feels really good because it takes so long to bump stuff around. Okay, so what else has been going on with me? I've been working really hard, but like I haven't really felt like making videos because like I don't really want to film myself doing the like building of the farm. I want to film myself doing like the running of the flower farm part of it. There'll be like some construction type videos in the fall, and that'll always be like an aspect of any particular video, but I didn't want to just like be making construction videos. So I just was like, I'm not going to film it. I'm just going to try to get stuff done. And it's working. It's coming together. Okay, so you obviously are here to see some flowers. Let's show you some of the stuff that's going on the farm first. Not actually flowers, but I want to show you my little veggie greenhouse that is still technically not a greenhouse because I don't have my plastic on it. But my tomatoes are coming along. This is a row of like bigger and medium-sized tomatoes. They're a little bit further behind. And then these ones are all of my cherry tomatoes, my eggplants, my cucumbers, and my peppers. Now that we're like into summer, they're gonna be like producing pretty well. Okay, I'm just gonna walk down the farm here and I'll show you what's going on. This is a bed, anise hyssop, and you can see starting to do stuff. And then behind it is a bed of bee balm. So you can see it is starting to open up. It goes on forever. This really produces like crazy. My feverfew has been overgrown with grass, and ultimately these are all perennials. This is my annual section. After they produce this year, I do want to move them down further in the farm so that this can stay an annual production area. But for now, I need flowers, so they are staying there. I've got some Rudbeckia growing here and in other places. You can see scabiosa, some of it, it's been blooming for a little while, so some of the flowers are getting old. Some of them have already lost all of their petals. So I definitely got to get in there and start harvesting those. My lilies, you know, like some of these are like now or never, but there's like lots of stuff here. And there's other beds of it too. Another reason I haven't been selling flowers is because like for a while I just had lilies, and I really don't like lilies. I even when they're cool colors and stuff, I just don't like them. And so whatever, personal preference. I have no doubt that I can sell some of these. I just don't get excited by it. So maybe that's a me problem. Okay, moving on. This is down to the like more annual section for this year. I can start harvesting out of here pretty heavily. And these are such a great moneymaker. So I'm excited to have them. My favorite secondary flowers, probably. I even have some straw flowers coming up, which is exciting. This is basically all straw flowers until my favorite little filler flower, because of that wonderful color. I got my floss flower down here. So you can see what a bunch of cuties these are. I love them. They kind of have like little mini liatris looks. And then that is another bed of anise hyssop, but it seems to be a little further ahead, which is good. And then we have status. There's some white status, some yellow status. I don't really like the yellow status. I don't like the color. You know, it's like safety yellow. Not so good. And then some purple. This is about half of the status that I have. So you can see here is more of the blues and the purples and the pinks at the far end and the apricots. And then over here, I've got snapdragons, and these are now or never as well. It is time to get these in bouquets. They've probably could have harvested them a while ago, but it is what it is. I'm happy to have them because they're basically going to be my go-to focal flower for the next week or so. This is another section of Rudbeckia. So in the long term, I want to move all the Rudbeckia. You know, I'll probably take up this little section here and just make this an entire bed of Rudbeckia, and then maybe put the bee balm and that other bed of anise hyssop, you know, kind of like in this area. So it's just a big perennial area. But for this year, annuals. And down here, this is like my succession of zinnias. So I've got two 70-foot beds of zinnias here, lots and lots of zinnias. And then I seeded some celosia because I never got around to like doing it as starts. And it said on the package that you can seed it in the early summer. So I don't know if that's a Canadian early summer. We'll find out, I guess. And then there's kind of like a bunch of different types of amaranth there as well. I'm just thinking like this year of simple, colorful bouquets that I can put together. You know, my farm this year won't be like the final vision of the farm. That'll hopefully be closer to what next year is. So this year I was just like, if I have lots of fun zinnias, colors to work with, then some amaranth, you know, in some fun colors too. And then like just all the other perennials that are on the farm. I should be able to put together some like colorful, interesting bouquets, lots of sunflowers as well for focal flowers. Just gonna get through this year, you know. Here is a yarrow. I think there's a lot of the summer berries in here. And I need to get in here and harvest this patch pretty hard. But you can see there's lots of stuff going on there. Here is one of my Echinops beds, just like a tiny little section of it. It's starting to go blue, so it's getting close to being ready. There's some more of it over here. And then Scabiosa right there. A little patch of Bells of Ireland. This is like, I don't know. This kind of looks like it's grown intentionally, but I don't know what it is. It also looks like it could be a weed. So if you know what this is, let me know. My poppies, they have all bloomed out, and so now they're these crazy seed head things. So I'll probably harvest those next week when I start going back to the market. Some cosmos over here. These are the only cosmos I have this year. I'm not really a big fan of cosmos, so that's fine. And then some daisies. These are producing and they are ready, so I should be harvesting them. And kind of like more bells of Ireland scattered around. This just kind of like comes back every year inconsistently. But, you know, like I can harvest some of these already. The bells of Ireland just kind of keep getting a little bit taller and taller as the season goes on. So, you know, all of those will become usable at some point in time. So strawberries, these are some carrots and some beets over there. This is my zinnias. So, you know, there's still a ways to go until they're really producing. You know, they're still small, but they'll be going in no time. And my sunflowers, this is my first succession of sunflowers. And then I seeded another one here. So these are germinating. It's all coming along. I'm feeling really confident in how this is all turning out, honestly. I'm pretty happy with this season so far, even though it's not perfect. Okay, over here, this is another bed of amaranth. And I should have like some usable stuff from this, you know, with the zinnias, not too long. And then some like zucchinis over here, because this is supposed to be my food section. Oh, look at this guy. Poor guy. You got your leaves all hidden. That's not good. You gotta put your leaves out here. Next up, this is where a lot of the roses are. So, you know, they're not super happy right now. It was hard to water them, and my tiller broke, so I couldn't control weeds very easily. But they're like making some blooms. They're kind of unhappy because I was smashing them yesterday when I was putting this irrigation in. I'm not going to get any production out of them this year, but a bunch of them will survive into next year, and then I'll have, you know, I'll have next year to play around with them. Over here is my delphiniums. So you can see these have lots of stems to harvest right now. I really like the delphiniums. They are beautiful. My customers aren't as crazy about them, but what do they know, huh? And over here, this is a yarrow that looks like a feverfew. Crazy that this is yarrow. Few of them survived. I'm surprised not more of them, but that's how she goes, I guess. And then a few more delphiniums over here. And look, I have no idea how it got all the way down here, because usually my hollyhocks are growing up at the top of the farm, but there's these beautiful apricot hollyhocks in here. I think that the delphiniums are really great. They produce a lot of stems. And next year, I'm gonna get like 3 of these like 70-foot beds, just like filled with them. No matter what I gotta do, like next year will be way better, because I took on a lot this year, and I didn't have the benefit of, you know, the irrigation system to like help me along. Now that the farm is starting to get easier to maintain, you know, like going into next year, especially at the end of the season this year, I'm gonna put landscape fabric down everywhere and just like really control the weeds going into the season, so that I'm not fighting weeds in spring. I'm not doing all of this, you know, bed prep. That's the dream, but I really feel like I'm getting on top of the farm with this like past month of just like farm work every day, focusing in on it, not getting distracted, making progress every day. That was the goal. So far, all of the different aspects of the farm have just kind of like come natural to me. You know, like I have been farming for 7 years, and I was worried about like being in control of all the different aspects of the farm this year, but it hasn't really been an issue. Now we're going to be stepping into like me making the more creative bouquets instead of just bunching a bunch of peonies together and selling it to eager customers. Now I have to actually like be creative, which will be interesting to see how that works out. But I'm not stressed about it because, you know, I know what I like and I know what looks good and I know what sells. And I'm not going to put together bouquets that I don't think will sell because, like, why would I do that? It's just a waste of my time. So if I'm like, this is not yet a bouquet that needs to, that will sell, then I will keep putting work into it and more stems. Okay, my peonies are here, and my peonies need a good weeding. They also need water. They're sad, but they'll be fine. You know, they'll come back stronger next year than they were this year. They were in the same shape last year at this time, so, you know, nature of the farm. As the peonies get more established, they do choke out the weeds. And so I feel like in the future, it will be easier and easier to control the weeds in that area. Oh, I didn't show this. My artichokes, they're still not going like crazy, but we are just into the summer. Let's move up. Okay, I had my chickens here for a little bit, but they were really sad. They're like, we don't want to be away from our home. So I just took the fence down and I tilled it when I got my tiller back from the shop. And I'm just keeping my chickens in the coop for now, but I think I'm gonna put them under the cherry trees because the cherry trees are almost done for the season and they can clean up all that mess. Okay, this perennial area is really overgrown, especially when you look at it from the outside. It looks really bad. It just looks like a big field of grass. But when you get in there, you can actually like see stuff. So let's tackle it. You can see a big tall thing of yarrow, but once again, I do not like the safety yellow color. It's not my cup of tea. I think that this is called blue glitter eryngium. The little tiny eryngiums. They are super cute. There's another patch of lilies over here. And ooh, look, this nasty weed that looks really cool. But in here, there's just a couple of mints that are just growing wild and produce like a crazy amount of stems, kind of like in the back half of the season. And some of this yarrow that's like terracotta yarrow that is so pretty. I love it. Okay. Oh, here is goldenrod. It's still a little bit off. And behind there, that's like phlox. So the phlox is like getting to be ready to harvest. There's a lot of goldenrod in here. It's hard to see because it's not in its yellow color yet, but it is there. And then there's a row of baptisia that's already bloomed out. I want to move all this stuff to the bottom of the farm eventually, not at this moment, but by the end of the season, that would be the goal so that I can turn this area into another greenhouse spot. But you can see the phlox, these ones need a little bit more, but like, here we go. These ones are ready to go. These do smell nice as well. These have a beautiful scent. Okay, my like thing that I'm the most excited to get to harvest today. Look at this patch. Look how beautiful this is, this eryngium. The color is amazing this year. So gorgeous. And there's a lot of stems there, so I am excited about that patch. That patch looks really good. Doing really good. This is a baby's breath with some more of this. Here is my very healthy raspberry patch, producing like lots and lots. So this is the other perennial area, and there's lots of yarrow here that's ready. Some forage, feverfew, a patch of yarrow in the grass over there. Some more anise hyssop. So you can see there's like lots of stuff in here. The one thing that didn't really come back this year is the sunny days sunflowers. Those really didn't like this past winter for some reason. My raspberries are taking over this area of the farm. They're very happy to exist. There's a bunch of Baptisia here. I may end up moving a lot of this stuff too, and just like moving it to the bottom of the farm. I don't know exactly what I want to do up here, but I don't think it's this. And these echinopsis are a little further ahead for some reason. These ones have been planted for longer, so maybe they just are a bit more established. I hardly even see any cherries on my trees anymore. The birds went after them really hard this year. I guess that's just how it goes. I ate my fill for a while, but not when I was filming. And the apricots are getting color on them. One of the reasons that I was comfortable to shut the farm down for sales is people went insane for the peonies, you know? So I was like worried if I shut the farm down and I just focused on work that maybe I was gonna like lose my momentum. Because this year is like a rebuilding year, a learning year. Like I obviously do have to make some money because I do have bills to pay. But I wanted to make it so that the farm is actually like viable for me to run by myself moving into the future. And the only way to do that is to shut down for a bit and really like focus in on all the farm tasks that I had to do. And I was worried about doing that because I didn't want like all my customers to find other like flower venues to shop with. But because the peonies sold so well, I know that every single year from here on in, I am going to get a boom of customers right at the start of the season. People all around Lake Country were like going crazy for the peonies. And as I was selling the peonies, my daily sales were just going up because people, it was like word of mouth. It was just like crazy, right? Like by the end, every day that I stocked the stand, didn't matter if it was a weekday or a weekend, I was selling like $500 a day. So if I have the peonies to sell, then I can sell them. And that means that I will have all of these customers next season, whether I stop for a break this year or not. Those customers will be back next year. I know it. And I will be able to, you know, move from the peonies into delphiniums and all these other things. You know, like I'll probably have more variety while the peonies are still available to try to start getting people to buy other stuff. I think that the future for the farm is really bright.